Alright, so today we're going to be doing a little video on how to do an animated dot study. So first thing you're going to do is in Procreate, you're going to go ahead and open up a new document. You can just go ahead and make that screen size. And then within this document, first off, again, I want you guys to make a background. So I'm going to go in, I have some pre-selected colors already. I am using Baskerville for my brush, and then I'm just gonna kind of make some blob-like shapes. I'm gonna put these on separate layers. Oops. Alright, and then lastly, you're gonna put a little background layer. And there I have it. So now I'm gonna go into each of these layers individually, and I'm going to go ahead and just Gaussian blur them. I'm doing this separately just because I might want to put the different shapes in different percentages of Gaussian blur just to kind of create some variation in the background. And then once I have that how I want, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go merge down on all of these until I just have one layer. And then this is gonna act as my background. So then here I'm gonna go up to the wrench. If you're not already clicked on the canvas like I am, click on canvas, and then you're going to toggle on animation assist, and it's going to pull up this little frame bar down here at the bottom. Now in here, a couple of things. Now that we've made like a simple background, just to kind of have some more visual interest in the background, you can click here and you could set these as a couple things. So there's hold duration, so this will just hold for a specific amount of frames. We want this to hold throughout the whole thing, so we're gonna toggle on background. There's also foreground you can toggle on, or if you weren't going to treat this as a background, you could just delete or duplicate layers by clicking on them this way as well. So we're going to toggle on background, and then now this will just kind of be the default background for all of our frames. I just clicked add frame, so then that's giving me this here. In this frame, it looks like it has a white background, but it's actually a transparent background because everything that you're going to see behind it is going to be this background that we just created. If you click settings, this controls a couple of things. So when you play your animation, there's nothing for us to play right now, so we can circle back to this later. But you have a couple options. Loop is just a continuous loop from beginning, like once it starts over, it starts from the beginning again. Ping pong is it bounces back and forth from the beginning and then it goes backwards from the end back to the beginning. And then one shot is just it plays through and then it will pause at the end. All right, your frame rates you can control here. Standard frame rate for most animations is 24 frames per second. We're going to just kind of be at the default today and do 15. And then onion skins is how much of each layer you can see when you're moving through. So let's go ahead and turn this up to just 2. I want to just see 2 frames behind so I can see where my dots have gone and where they're gonna go. And then onion skin opacity, of course, that's just wherever you want. That's just going to be how visible each layer is as you're moving through. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I picked these colors. I'm gonna go ahead and do complementary colors to my background colors here. So I have this like bluish color. I'm gonna go ahead, jump up my vibrance, and then I'm going to jump from blue across the way to orange. And then I can also go to this color, again, going to vibrance, and then I can go here, and you can see I already kind of have those two picked out down here. But I'm just doing complementary colors just to kind of keep a cohesive color scheme. All right. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm gonna start here with this, and I'm gonna do 2 dots moving through my composition. So I'm gonna start my dots moving in from the edge of the frame so that they look like they're coming onto the page. So I'm gonna start, maybe I'll do 1 frame where it's just empty, and then in my next frame, they're going to enter. And then I can jump over here. Gonna make that smaller. And then I can go ahead, add frame. I'm gonna start on this side just because I'm already on this color. And then I'll move over here. And now I'm doing a very small movement from it just being right coming onto the frame to it now being fully in frame, but just right on the edge. So if I go back and forth, it's going to look something like that. And I can see my onion skins. They're not gonna show up in the final animation, but it's just showing me where I just was. So I'm moving like that. Now, if I wanted to go ahead and make more of a quick movement, I'm gonna go ahead and move my dot up and make a bigger gap between my last movement. Maybe on this side, I'll keep it nice and slow, just so that we have 2 different types of movement styles happening here. Also, you may notice that as I'm going through, I'm making the dots bigger. This is going to create the illusion that they're coming closer to the viewer. Maybe I'll slow this movement down, but make it bigger so it looks like it's really coming up close. And then if I were to reverse it, if I were to make it smaller, it's going to make these dots look like they're going farther away. So this is going to make them look like they're moving through space and not just on like a linear path. At this point, now I'm not quite at 30 frames, but you can see I have enough here to you know, have an animation going. So I have turned my frame rate from 15. So here, let's play it at 24. And now I have a total of 28 frames here. So this is just over a full second long, and you can tell it's kind of too fast to really see anything. So 24 frames per second here would be, you know, not the greatest. So we're gonna go ahead, turn it down, and let's try 15 like we originally said. This is much better, a lot easier on the eyes. So at 30, if I were to add 2 more frames and have 30, this would be 2 whole seconds. And also good, but I think just to really like smooth this out and feel like, you know, you can actually have time to absorb what's happening, if you turn that down to 12, it's just a little bit easier on the eyes. So, and then you can observe kind of the movement a little bit better. So here we have 2 circles, 2 dots. And if we turn this down even more to 6, we can really observe the movement. So we have 2 dots that come into frame. They kind of do this big circle, wrap around each other, and then they exit the frame on the opposite side that they entered on. Just kind of a good study to understand movement, to understand how something can move through space, something getting, you know, larger if it's coming closer to you, demonstrating perspective, or smaller if it's going farther away from you. But yeah, just a good practice to get to start understanding the interface of Procreate, frame by frame animation, getting used to those onion skins and all of that. So just to circle back to those different settings. So if I were to play my animation on loop, it's just going to start from the beginning every single time. If I play it on ping pong, once it gets to the end, it's going to play it in reverse back to the beginning. Let me turn up my frame rates here for this to make more sense. Let me get back to 12. And then as soon as it hits that last frame, it's just going to play the whole thing in reverse. And then the last one shot, we'll just play the whole thing through and then it will pause it at the end. And then you could just see the total, your animation in whole. So those are the different play settings. Again, the onion skins, if you were to see now that I actually have onion skins, that just shows you how dark they are. You wouldn't want it to be max because then you wouldn't even be able to see the difference between your current frame and your onion skins. And then also you can control how many onion skins you can see. I think it only goes up to about how many frames you have per second, or I think it only goes up to 12. So that is that. Obviously, it kind of gets messy. You can see here, once you have so many onion skins turned on, I find it's only necessary to really be able to see a few unless you're doing something more complex. And then if you wanted to then go and export your animation, you would go to share and you would go down to these options here. You could export it as an animated MP4 or an animated GIF, and then, you know, obviously those will just play differently. This one will play with like a play and a pause button, and then this one will just play and repeat and loop. All right, but that is how to get started with animation.